Gotta make sure I look good for this video. Yo, what's good? Hope you guys are doing well. Now I actually wanted to film this video, one, because I haven't done an informational video in so long. Just, sit, talk to you guys, give some jump tips on, what I think can really help you guys increase your vertical. And I got a really good topic in mind today, something that I wish I knew when I started my vertical jump training about 6 years ago. And that's 3 really important tips I would give my younger self so that I can, just have gains more efficiently and not have to, be all sorts of places when trying to increase my vertical. When I started out, it was really messy. I just had no idea what I was doing, and it really took me a long time to figure that out. So I figured I'd save you guys that struggle if you're just starting your jumping journey, or if you're well into it even, just to give some tips that I've kind of learned over these past 6 years. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now the first tip, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but I think it's so important, is I would have reduced the amount of volume I was jumping. Looking back on it, my body has definitely caught up to that. I was jumping way too much almost every single day, which now that I look back on it, that's absolutely crazy. Just to go out there, jump day after day after day, it really over time does tax you, and you can get really injured. And I kind of feel like if I didn't do that back then now I would be a lot healthier. I feel like I wouldn't have as much wear and tear in my joints. So that would be the biggest tip I would give is to my younger self, is just not jump as much, to be a lot more disciplined, to really listen to my body, understand, and kind of just figure out how much volume it can handle without getting injured or sore, and just go off that. And I think everyone is different as well, so you can't really say, oh, okay, this person's jumping this much, I'm going to copy them. Everyone's different, so it's really important that you figure out how much you can handle, how much your body can handle, while still progressing. So that's the first tip. Understand how much you can handle, and you can try and increase that volume a little bit over time, but just make sure that you're having that discipline. The second tip I would give my younger self is to take my recovery a lot more seriously. Now, before you hear this and say, oh yeah, I've heard this before, it's so important, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the first tip, because not only was I jumping so much almost every single day, but I wasn't combating that with the sufficient recovery time that I needed. So I was just, from both ends, I was just not doing the right thing. So I really would recommend to try getting in recovery, stretching, foam rolling, active rest, going for walks, all those sort of things. I would suggest doing that like almost every day. Pretty much every day I'll do some sort of form of recovery, whether it's stretching, foam rolling, or just doing some active rest. But back in the day, I did not even know what that was. I didn't stretch, I didn't foam roll, and that really took a toll on my body. Even then it took a toll on my body, but I kind of just ignored it just because I was young. I was able to kind of keep jumping and kind of get away with it, but now not so much. So it does catch up to you. Do take your recovery seriously. And one thing that I always think of that really motivates me to take my recovery seriously is it's not your workouts that make you stronger, it's the recovery time that is where the progress and the growth happens. So the better your recovery time is, the more growth you go through and the more gains you'll receive. So super important tip, don't overlook recovery. Make sure you're incorporating different types of recovery, and that way you'll be able to jump higher, longer, and healthier. Now the third and final tip, this one is something I struggled with a lot, and I see a lot of people asking me about this, especially when you're a beginner. It's so confusing because you don't really know how to train specifically for a vertical jump, and that tip is to train more specifically. I would give my younger self some basic guidelines on how to train for a vertical jump, because when I started out, I would do all these weird bodybuilding splits. Like I'd have like a chest day and a back day, and that was not specific enough, obviously, for jumping higher. That's for gaining muscle. So I would really give my younger self some tips and some guidelines, which would be, one, anytime that I want to start a program, I would look at what my goals are. So If my goal is to jump higher, then I would make sure that my exercises in my routine, my split, my volume, my intensity, it all mimics that. So if I want to jump higher, then I got to make sure I am doing explosive exercises in my routine. I'm doing the main strength builders, the main compound movements like squats and deadlifts. Then I also want to make sure that I'm performing in the right rep ranges. So with the main lifts, typically within 1 to 5 reps, that's where you really build strength, not going for high rep ranges where it's not that focused on strength, it's more focused on hypertrophy, which is building muscle. And then obviously intensity, making sure that you're not lifting lightweight, you're lifting heavy, because that's where obviously you're going to gain strength. And then also when you're performing other exercises, you're doing them not to high repetitions. For example, a lot of people do plyos with high repetitions, which just fatigue them, which just trains their jumping endurance. I would say, you know, make sure that the reps I'm doing is specific to explosiveness. So I'm doing short reps, but I'm giving it 100% intensity. So things like that. Also split, making sure my split is more focused around an athlete split. It's more focused around an athlete split. So something like a push-pull legs is more specific rather than, you know, isolating each body part. Maybe you can do 2 upper bodies, 2 lower bodies. So maybe one would be an explosive day, one would be a strength day, things like that. So really kind of giving myself some guidelines to go off of, making sure my training is specific enough. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. To sum up, I would 1, understand my body, make sure I'm reducing my volume to what my body can handle. So in a few years time, which is now, I won't be regretting it, and just to make sure that I'm healthy internally. Second, that I am making sure I am just having plenty of recovery time, because 1, that helps my gains, 2, it helps me jump more healthy for longer, and 3, just making sure I'm training specific to what my goals are. So not, you know, doing all these splits and volumes and intensities that aren't even relevant. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash this thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, a lot more videos on the way. Comment down below what other I always stuff it up some point. Comment down below what other vids you want to see, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!